I broke up with my girlfriend of 3 years because she wanted to remain a virgin. Now she wants to get back together but told me she had sex with someone else when we were broken up. How should I proceed? I met my ex-girlfriend Ellie 3 years ago. We lived on campus at university, in different halls of residence. After a few months, we got together and for the most part had a very happy relationship. There was always one issue though. Ellie grew up in a very religious home. Her father is a pastor. She has been open with her family that she does not share their faith. They weren't happy about it, but accepted that she has to make her own choices on that. Nevertheless, I think some of that religious upbringing was still in her mind. I grew up in a different religion but was never very serious about it, and am no longer religious. Our relationship was pretty normal, except that she told me very early that she was a virgin and wanted to stay that way until she was married. It wasn't for religious reasons, as I mentioned she isn't religious, but she was very focused on not disappointing her dad. We did other sexual things, just not intercourse. I never had much luck with girls growing up, and going into the relationship I was a virgin. And I still am, at least if you classify being a virgin as never having had intercourse. Anyway, I was becoming more resentful of the fact that everyone I know was having normal sexual relationships and we weren't. I couldn't understand why she didn't want to have a full sexual relationship, though of course, I never pressured her about it. I felt that while I was at university and pretty broke, getting married was something for the future. Last year, I was in my last year of university and she was working in her first professional job. Her degree was shorter than mine, so she finished university first despite being younger than me. She was talking a lot about all these successful guys she met at work, which made me feel lesser as I was still a broke university student. Coupled with her still not wanting a full sexual relationship, it did make me feel more resentful. We had some arguments about it and after a while, I felt that I should end the relationship as we wanted different things and our lives were on different paths. It was awful. She was crying a lot and I felt terrible afterward. Anyway, it has been nearly 6 months since we broke up. We haven't been in touch at all for most of that time. I have not been involved with anyone else in that time, as I was 100% focused on finishing my degree. I have finally finished university and am about to start my first professional job. She recently got in touch again and asked to meet up. I was hesitant, but decided we had so much good history that I should hear her out. She told me she's been missing me terribly these past 6 months, that she thinks she wants to get back together and is open to having a sexual relationship now. I asked her why now, what changed, and she looked uncomfortable. After a little prying, she said she had a short-term fling with one of the older guys at work while we were broken up, which of course was fine as she wasn't my girlfriend anymore. Anyway, she said he persisted with her until she started having sex with him. She ended it with him recently. She was clear that it was consensual, but that the guy was very persistent with pursuing sex with her. I was gutted. I couldn't understand why she'd make me wait all those years, but was fine doing it with some new guy she'd only been seeing a short time. I asked if the reason she was open to having a sexual relationship now is that she wasn't a virgin anymore. She said yes. I asked her to give me some space to process all this. I'm conflicted and would love some advice on this. I have missed her a lot and still have strong feelings for her, but at the same time it feels like I was strung along for years. It's hard to put my finger on why I don't want to take her back. Everything logically makes sense for us to get back together. I'd even get to finally have a sexual relationship with her. But I feel awful about this whole thing and don't want to ignore those feelings. Some of the comments are being very harsh on my ex. And I guess that's not surprising. You don't know her. She's not some evil, manipulative villain at all. I would never have been with anyone like that. She's still the funny, smart, charming, beautiful girl I always knew. Any guy would be lucky to have her. I would be too if I could handle the baggage here, but I'm thinking I probably can't and a clean break is the way to go. Though she may regret the relationship with the other man, it's not my business as she was a single woman and we were broken up. I wasn't ever expecting to hear from her again, really. This whole situation is very surprising to me. I'm feeling hurt because I guess this is a solid blow to my ego, that I feel like the lesser man here. I can own that and that's something for me to work on. Ultimately, I have some hang-ups about sex from this relationship that I need to deal with. A few people have suggested I could benefit from therapy. I'm gonna look into that. I think I need help to process all these emotions from this situation. Update: I went camping with a group of friends over the long weekend for Australia Day. I didn't have much internet access, so couldn't keep up with comments. Sorry. It was good to have a lot of time outdoors, to talk to my friends and to reflect a lot on my relationship. I decided I don't want to get back together with Ellie. It was a lovely day on the 29th and we went swimming and fishing and cooked on a fire by the beach. In the evening, I texted Ellie to say I'd thought it over and don't want to meet up again. I wished her well for the future. She replied saying she was disappointed, but that she understood and wished me the best as well. I felt lighter. It's a beautiful area we camped in and it helped put me in a positive frame of mind. The next day when we were driving back from our trip, I saw Ellie had messaged me again. She said she had spoken to the guy, let's call him Tim, and they had gotten back together. She said she was sorry for misleading me and that they had never really broken up in the first place. They just had a fight. She said she should not have come to me when she had that argument with Tim and that was a big mistake on her part. She hoped we could be friends still but would understand if I didn't want to talk to her. I was a bit taken aback by that. She had come to me on the rebound, basically. She was feeling low and missed me, but when it was clear I wasn't taking her back, she went back to him. Okay then. I just replied saying I understand and that I think it's best we move on from each other. I didn't hear from her for a few days. Then on Friday night, she showed up at my door. She'd obviously been crying a lot. She said she wanted to explain herself. I didn't want to let her in, but she seemed like she really needed to talk and I didn't want to just shut her out. She started talking as soon as she was through the door. She said she was so sorry for everything and that she had been hurting so much since I ended it and didn't know what to do. That when Tim started talking to her at work, she enjoyed his attention and he made her feel a lot better about herself. She said he was quite successful at their company and it made her feel better as a woman to get interest from a successful guy when she was feeling so low. She said the other women at her work were very catty about Tim. He had a bit of a reputation for dating younger women at work and that there was a lot of gossip about them when she started seeing him. She said they argued about it and about how he had treated other women in the past. That was the argument they had. She said she didn't really want to break up with him. She was just mad about all the gossip about them. She admitted coming to me and saying she wanted to get back together was a big mistake. She said she wanted to be friends and wanted my advice about Tim. I was floored. I hadn't expected any of this. I listened to her. Then I asked her why she was with Tim and what she wanted to get out of it. She said she had been so upset by our breakup and was looking for something to make her feel better. Tim was there and interested. He was very charming and very experienced and made her feel great. She had thought we could get back together and start over fresh. But she realized quickly after talking to me that wasn't what she wanted. She said she really wanted to be friendly with me, but that she was going to focus on Tim. I asked her why she slept with Tim and not me. She started crying again and said she was so sorry, that she hadn't been thinking straight, that she felt lost. I told her that it wasn't good for either of us to be seeing each other, that I didn't want to hear from her for a while and that I needed to move on. She left, still crying. I felt like shit, but I know it was the right thing to do. Since then I've been thinking a lot about everything. I realized I was hurt more by my pride than anything else. I felt like I was waiting around for her for years and then she went and did it with someone else almost straight away. That was a big blow to my ego. But logically I understand she was free to do what she wanted. It's just my emotions catching up to my logic now. It's time to move on. I'm excited about starting my new job. I'm going to focus on my career and build my life. I learned a lot from my relationship with Ellie and I'll always have good memories of her. She was my first love and I'll always cherish that. But she's my past now. I wish her the best with Tim, but I'm done. Looking forward to the future now and maybe I'll meet someone new. For now, though, I'm going to focus on me and my career. The moral of the story is that respecting one's own boundaries and values is essential, even in the face of complex emotions and past attachments. It underscores the importance of self-respect and the necessity of recognizing when a relationship no longer aligns with one's needs and values. Personal growth often requires the courage to move on from past relationships, even if they were once significant and meaningful. By prioritizing personal well-being and focusing on future goals, one can find true happiness and fulfillment. This story teaches that it's crucial to address and process emotions, seek help if needed, and embrace new opportunities with an open heart, allowing for personal development and a brighter future.